Hi everybody, welcome to episode 5 of the Coffee, Yarn, and Dinosaurs podcast. I'm really excited that you guys decided to join me. Thank you for either coming back, if you guys have subscribed or watched previous videos, and if you're new, hi, welcome. I am Ruth. I'm the designer behind Everyday Yarn Works, and this is my podcast. So since the last time I've podcasted, there's a couple little things to catch you guys up on. I don't know why I said we, have hit over 100 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you guys so much. It really means a lot to me, every single person that feels that it's worth their time to sit here and watch me talking about yarn and knitting and all of that. So to say thank you for you guys, for over 100 of you for subscribing, what I would like to do is to give you guys a little giveaway. If you would like to receive one of my patterns for free, that's the giveaway. Just comment, we're going to do it all on YouTube. Comment below in the little comments box and tell me what your favorite part of the show is, whether you like knitting, crocheting, spinning, new designs, what your favorite part of the podcast is. And then the next time, on the next podcast, I will choose from one of the comments. So I'll leave it open until the next podcast. I'll choose from one of the comments, randomly, just a random number generator. And whatever that number is, you will get to choose one of my patterns from my Ravelry shop for free as a thank you. So thank you guys. Let's see, today is Thursday. Yes, Thursday, June 28th. So it's almost the end of June, which is crazy. It's so fast. So I'm gonna jump right in and talk to you guys a little bit about what I've been working on. And first, what I am drinking today, which you can't tell, this is iced decaf snickerdoodle coffee. I have the bag right here because I wanted to show you guys. When I found out I was expecting another child, my sister very kindly sent me this. It's Tom's Coffee Card and Gifts, and you can see the address and the website and the phone number. It's a local coffee shop to her, and she sent me this whole cute little care package with a bunch of decaf coffees from this place and said, here, I hope this makes your transition to decaf easier, which I thought was really kind, because if you guys have had decaf coffee, like just the generic stuff that's not from anywhere that really makes it nicely, it is not a wonderful taste. So this is their snickerdoodle decaf. And the funny thing is, I tried it hot and I actually did not like it very much. It was okay, but it sort of had that weird flavored coffee aftertaste. But when I iced it and put vanilla Wawa creamer in it, it is so good. It's so much better. So that is what I'm drinking today. And if you want a good hot decaf, they have a Colombian, I think it's Colombian. Yeah, Colombian decaf. And that's what I've been drinking in the mornings because it tastes much better hot than cold. So it all works out. So what I've been working on, actually I was watching another podcast. I was watching Taylor with the Wool Needles Hands podcast, and she mentioned that she's doing a spin along for people who are new to drop spindling. And I'm not new to drop spindling, but I'm not very good at supported spindling. So I decided, even though I can't spin along with them, I decided to give it a shot and pull out my supported spindle and try that again. So I grabbed my Titania fiber from Created by LCB, and sorry, excuse a Ziploc bag. I started working on it and I did not get very far. This is all I have done. Look, it's such a little bit, and it's not terribly well spun. Let's see if I can get this to focus a little better. Focus. All right, anyway, it's not terribly well spun because, like I said, I'm not very good at supported spindling. And then sort of as soon as I started doing this, I remembered why I stopped supported spindling. And that's because this amount of fiber probably took me a good half an hour to spin. And it's not even, I guess it's not even spun that well, and it's not even that consistent. And if I get on my wheel and I spin for half an hour, I'm gonna have like, okay. So this is my braid of fiber that I was spinning from. And in that amount of time that I spun this half an hour, I probably spun about this much fiber. Like just maybe like 1.5 inches. If I spent half an hour on my wheel, I could probably spin like this much fiber, or maybe even more. And it would be consistent, and it would be the way that I want it to be. And I just will not be messing with the supported spindling right now, which I know the whole point is that you want to learn new techniques, and it's good to learn techniques, and it's good to try things that you're not trying. But I have a lot on my plate right now, business-wise, which I'll talk about later, not just designing-wise, but designing and starting another business with my husband. And it's just, if I'm gonna spend my time and spin, I want to see results, I guess is the best way to say it. So sometimes this would be for if I wanted to do what you would call process spinning, I guess. If I wanted to enjoy the process and not really worry too much about whether I would have a finished outcome or not. And for my wheel, I like using it when I want to have finished yarn. If I'm worried about how it's going to come out, I know I can spin consistently on my wheel. I know what it'll look like when I'm finished. So this is probably just gonna sit here and be all sad, and I will probably end up spinning this on my wheel anyway. So that's my first work in progress. And my second one, all of these sections are gonna be kind of combined today because they all are overlapping in my life right now, in my crafting life. So my second one, I'm really excited to show you guys this. So I watch a lot of podcasts, and I see all the time people have really nice knitting project bags, like the Handmade ones. Oh, those are so pretty. Oh, I really like those. And then I guess I either have really picky taste, or maybe I'm just a little frugal. But I went online and looked at a couple of them, mostly on Etsy, and I just couldn't really find project bags that I wanted to spend money on. So I thought to myself, a bag is, you know, and a zipper. Like, it's straight lines and a zipper. So how hard could it really be? I have basic rudimentary sewing skills. Like, I'm not that great. I can't sew myself a jacket or a shirt or anything like that. But hey, can't I make myself a bag, right? So I made myself the biggest project bag ever. Dun, 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 dun. And it's kind of funny because I put it up on Instagram, and I realized after I took a picture that it looks like just a normal average size project bag. It doesn't look that big. And I guess I should have held it up next to my face or something to show everybody how big it actually is. Because look, it like hides my it's like a pillow. It hides my entire face. I'm gonna show you some of what's in it, but I'm gonna show you the bag first because I'm really proud of this bag, even though technically, like, it's not, probably not up to snuff. Like, some of the corners are wonky, and some of the, you know, the zipper's a little fiddly, but I love it and it's awesome. So I have on the outside this fancy schmancy Harry Potter Dumbledore's Army fabric, and on the inside it's all says like he who shall not be named and the Dark Mark and Lord Voldemort and all sorts of cool stuff, because I thought that would be funny with Dumbledore's army on the outside and then Voldemort's stuff on the inside. So, but yeah, seriously, look at this. Look how big it is. Look how much stuff you could fit inside. I always laughed at Christy and Tristan on the Girls in the Yarn Cafe that they like put the bags over their heads to see how big they are. But guys, seriously, watch this. Watch. It fits all of me. It's like doesn't just sit on my head. It goes all the way down. It's like a hoodie on my head when I put this thing on. So I had originally made it with just this teeny tiny little wrist strap, which is great. Like I can stick my wrist in it, and if I were knitting or if it were a normal sized project bag, this is all I would need. But when I started carrying it, I put like my wallet in it and I put a couple of projects in it, and it started getting a little bit heavy. So I decided, I went back to the store, I got a little bit more of my fabric, and I'm just gonna do handles. Like, I don't usually carry a tote bag per se, because it's not really my style, but it seems like for this bag, the best way for me to attach sturdy handles without taking the entire thing apart is just going to be to cut like this, you know, long strips, kind of fold them over so they can be handily, like so, and attach them to the front and the back of the bag, tote bag style. So hopefully I will be able to use this for a regular purse, which would be awesome, because having 2 little kids and one on the way, there is no such thing as a small purse for me. I'm always having some kind of large purse. But I like this because it's tall, but it's not as wide as a normal purse. So that is my plan. And, oh look, zipper. This is the first zipper I've ever put in, and it's functional. It's awesome. I'm so excited. There's no, like, I covered the edges. Ta-da! I'm so excited. And the reason I'm so excited about this is I'm going to show you guys the last time I attempted to make project bags. And it's significantly less awesome than the one that I just showed you. So this is one of my old ones, and it's just, if you go to like Joann's and they call them fat quarters, it's a 1/4 of a yard cut, and you literally, this one, I just took it, folded it over and went zip, 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 and put a drawstring through it. So it's not, like you can see, it's not lined. There we go. It's not lined, the top is just folded over, and it's functional, but it's not really pretty. But these are what I use for when I'm knitting socks, or if I'm knitting something small, which leads me to my next project, which is a glove. So this fits nicely in my little dinky bag, and I probably have about 8 of these. Not that I use them all at the same time, but I have, yeah, probably like 8 of them, just because it came in a pack of fabric and I decided to make them. So this single glove with only one with no thumb on it is, ooh, let me see if I can get it in there well. Yeah, that is one of my Ode to Summer mitts. And this is a pattern that I designed a couple of years ago. And it's one of the ones, if you remember, I mentioned in the last podcast that I'm giving it kind of an update, a little bit of a revamp. So I got yarn. This is actually a really unique yarn. It's called Zeilana Rimu. Zeilana Rimu from New Zealand. And the reason I got it, the reason that it stuck out to me, is because it is 60% New Zealand merino and 40% possum. And I couldn't resist. I had to try it, because when I first heard of possum yarn, if you are in North America, you know that when you hear possum, the word that jumps, or the image that jumps into your head is kind of that little nocturnal creature that's like, and it's not very friendly, and it doesn't look very soft. It kind of just looks prickly, and like, why would you ever want to make yarn out of a possum? But apparently, and this I thought was really cool, because the ball band gives you information if you're ignorant like me. And it says that there's an entire, look at this. There's the animal. Can you see? There's a little animal right there. It's a brush-tail possum, and it's an animal that's not native to New Zealand. So it says there's 70 million brush-tail possums in New Zealand, and they're destroying their forest. So whether you agree with it or not, they are, I believe, if I understand correctly, they are being ethically hunted, essentially, and used for their fur and stuff like that. And I understand if that upsets you, and you can do more research. I've had lots of people from either New Zealand or Australia explain to me why it is a good thing that this needs to be controlled and fixed. So anyway, it is, let me show you. If you can see it, it kind of has, yeah, there it is. You can see this like halo, which I have to assume is from the possum, but it's very soft, and it's very, like you can wear it next to your skin, and it's comfy, and it's soft, and it shows the stitches really well, which I was worried about when I saw the halo. Usually a yarn that has a halo, you can't really see the stitches, but this I'm actually pretty pleased with. So I have one down. Actually, this is cool too. So this is only a 50-gram ball of yarn, right? Like it's not very big. It's 140 yards, and I have one glove down, and I have over half a ball of yarn left. Like I have, I think, 30 grams of yarn left to do the other glove, which is ridiculously exciting, because that means that when I update this pattern, I can tell people you need less than 50 grams of yarn to make a pair of gloves, which is awesome. And it also means that I can use the other ball of yarn to make a hat to match this. So I am making my Ode to Summer mitts, fingerless gloves, whatever you want to call them. And the second ball is going to be an Ode to Summer hat. So they will match. So that's something I've been working on. And I don't think I have any more whips that I can show you right now. I do have one that I'm working on, but it's for a pattern that's not going to be published till, not October, August. It's going to be published in August, and I can't show you the pattern until August because I wrote it for a third-party publisher. I'll be right back. The baby woke up. Okay, I'm back. And while I paused, I realized that I do have another whip that I can show you, and it's actually the main one that I've been working on. So, this is my bag from Just Keep Knitting Bags and Totes by Lori, and in it I have, if I can get it all untangled and show you, a yarn doodle shawl. And if you remember the last episode, I showed this in a deep red and kind of a pink. It's a new pattern that I'm working on that will also be available August 1st. And I'm making another sample. I wanted to show you guys these gorgeous colors because I've really been enjoying the yarn, and it is from Dragon Horde Yarn. Shocker. And this beautiful colorway, yeah, that's showing up pretty nicely. This beautiful colorway is her Captain Jack Sparrow colorway. You can see it a little bit better here. And I'm really pleased because I was worried if the variegated yarn would show the pattern very well, because sometimes variegated yarn can just completely obscure the pattern. But I'm really happy that it's visible. And this other color is a light gray also from Dragon Horde yarn, but that she custom dyed for me. So I'm really pleased with how it's working, how the colors are transitioning. It's very, very fun to work on, and I'm really enjoying the colors. And as a bonus, I guess this would go under acquisitions, but because everything is blending together this episode, you're just gonna see it now. These are my stitch markers from Truffles Shuffle on Etsy, which I love, and I just have to show them to you individually because they're so cute. There's a unicorn and a little tiny dinosaur, and where's his face? Little octopus. And I love them. And she has all of these different cute little animals, and they all look like this. And some of them are sparkly, and the unicorns come in all different colors, and they're adorable. And actually, they're so cute that when I opened the box, my 3-year-old looked at them and he was like, "Mommy, little animals for me?" And I felt so bad. I was like, no, I got them for me because mommy apparently needs to play with little animals too. So he and the little guy, they were picking up the animals, and they were like, do 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 do, oh, the unicorn, oh, the octopus, we can play little animals, and they were playing with them together. And I felt almost bad when I took them and put them on the shawl because they still come over like, "Dinosaur, can I play with the dinosaur?" And I'm going, "No, it's marking my spot, don't take the dinosaur off." So adorable, and I really love them. And so what I've been using them for, because I don't really use stitch markers, but they were really cute, and I bought them before I knew what I was going to do with them because they were just so cute. And I've been using them to mark my progress each day that I work on it, because when I started this shawl, I wanted to know how quickly I could knit it from start to finish. Because when I publish a pattern, I like to be able to give people a realistic timeline, a real expectation of how long they can expect it to take them to knit a pattern. Because if I start, the first sample probably took me 3 or 4 months to knit, because I started it and put it down, and started it and put it down, and I had 4 projects going, and I picked it up and put it down, so it realistically doesn't take 4 months to knit. It takes maybe a couple of weeks, because I have 1 more section left on this to go, and I started it since the last podcast. So it's been less than 3 weeks. Yeah, like 2.5 weeks, and I have almost a complete shawl already, which is totally different from 4 months. So I'm really excited that I'm going to be able to give you guys a realistic expectation of how long it will take. So, oh, and here is the yarn in the cake, so you can maybe see the colors a little bit better. This is the Captain Jack Sparrow colorway. Da, 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 da. And look how much I have left too. The last section is going to be half this and half the light gray, and I'm pretty sure that I have enough to make maybe a pair of shorty socks with this, like a pair of ankle socks, which is awesome because look, it's sparkly too. Can you see? Oh yeah, you can see the sparkles. So it's sparkly too. So I'm probably gonna end up making myself a pair of sparkly Captain Jack Sparrow socks at some point in the future. So that's that. Let's see. I'm looking at my notes because I actually made notes of what I wanted to tell you guys this time instead of just winging it. Oh, things I've actually finished. On the last podcast, I did not get to show you guys my fairy wings shawl. I'm so excited because I remembered it and I have it. So I'm a little close to the camera today. I'm gonna scoot back a little bit. Check this out. Ta 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 ta. It is a big semicircular shawl. And this is going to be released probably also August 1st, just because that's the deadline from when I got things done with my testers. It's the deadline I gave my testers. all of that goodness. So, scoot back in now so you can see it. Ta-da! I love this. It has a little fancy bind off, and you will totally see this again in a little over a month when I release it. But this is my Fairy Wings shawl. Will be released August 1st. And here's, you can see a little bit of the leftover yarn I used. This is from Jelly Beans yarn, and it is her Fairy Wings colorway, which is what I named the shawl after. She graciously let me name the shawl after the colorway, because the colorway is what inspired it. So yeah, this you will see in August. It's nice and big, and I love it. So the second new shawl slash project that I finished, I'm really excited to announce because it has been in the works for months and months and months and months and months. Ta-da! Check it out. Look at this. This is my long-awaited collaboration with Tristan from Dragon Horde Yarn. This is, the yarn is from her, and the green is her colorway Playful Pascal, and it's a custom dark gray colorway, and it's finally done, and I can finally show you guys. I'm so excited. Let me sit back. Look. So this shawl is going to be released July 1st. So that is this Saturday, which it's probably going to take me at least a day to upload the podcast. So if you guys are watching this July 1st or after, this is my new shawl pattern that will be in the shop July 1st. And it is called There She Weaves by Night and Day. It is named after the Tennyson poem. And if you're not sure which one I'm talking about, do any of you guys remember the old Anne of Green Gables show where you see Anne walking through, in the beginning of the movie, she's walking through with the book, there she weaves by night and day, and blah, 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 you know. It's a beautiful poem. It's not just that line. But that's the line I named it after, because it has these textured bits that are, they're actually faux smocks. So a smock, usually you have ribbing, you have two columns of ribbing, and the smocking draws them together. But this is the same technique used on something I'm not trying to draw together. And of course, the edging, it just reminded me of a river. And the poem talks about a river and a woman weaving next to a river. And it's very magical and it's very beautiful, and it just reminded me of this. So that is what I've named it. There She Weaves by Night and Day. And for you guys who watch the podcast, if you use the coupon code COFFEE, no capitals, no anything, just COFFEE, coffee, when you buy it on Ravelry, you will get a 25% discount as my thank you to you for seeing this on the podcast and watching and coming over to take a look. So those are my two FOs. Let me look at, I think I can do new acquisitions, which I don't have too many, and that purple possum yarn you saw before was one of them. And a second one is this. And it looks very generic, but the reason why I picked it out is because the company is West Yorkshire Spinners. It's a DK weight yarn, and it is a blue face Leicester yarn. It's undyed, so it's just, this is the color of the sheep. Ta-da! At least I think it's undyed. Pretty sure. Uncertain. But anyway, I've been wanting to try different breeds of sheep or animals, fiber type animals, for yarn because I feel like a lot of the time people use merino. Like if you see wool yarn, it's usually merino, sometimes alpaca, maybe some cashmere or angora if you like fluffy stuff. But there's a lot of breeds of sheep out there and a lot of breeds of goats, and I sort of discovered this while my husband and I were researching breeds of animals for future homesteading plans, and I was like, man, there's a lot of breeds of There's a lot of breeds of sheep out there, and how come the only wool that people use is merino? What's up with that? So I decided I want to try different breeds of sheep. So this is me trying Blue-Faced Leicester, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with this, but it is soft enough that I could wear it next to my face, and usually yarns fluff up when you knit them too, so even if it's a little bit, which this isn't, even if it's a little bit prickly in your hand, usually they fluff up a little bit when you knit them and then wash them. So I think I'm going to make my Bad Wolf Bay pattern, which is a cowl that goes, well, this is not really a cowl, it's kind of an infinity scarf that goes around the neck, because like I've said, I'm redoing samples of a lot of my patterns. So I will be doing this, and I have 2 skeins of it. I just hit my face with the tag. I'll be doing it with 2 skeins of this. Hopefully you'll see that on the next podcast too. We will see. And it seems kind of funny for my next new acquisition after showing you guys this and being like, there are various breeds of sheep and you should all try different breeds of sheep and be exotic. Because my next new acquisition is acrylic yarn. Dun dun dun! Because, as previously stated, I am redoing my pattern samples. And while some of them are going to be redone in fancy exotic sheep breeds, some of them are just going to be in the yarn that I used when I first started designing, which is this yarn, Anna's Choice. Unless, which may happen, unless I start knitting with this and I absolutely cannot stand it. Because even though I went on this whole big long spiel in the first podcast about how Ruth is not a yarn snob, and there are good uses for acrylic yarn, and don't just be all fancy wool and don't use the acrylic. But I started knitting the Ode to Summer gloves that I showed you before. I started knitting them in Lion brand woolies, which I have previously used for lots of patterns, and I got like maybe 10 rows and I put it down. I was like, I can't stand it. I don't like it. I don't like how it feels. I've been spoiled. I've been turned into a yarn snob. So, in theory, I will be making my whale of a scarf pattern, which is just a straight scarf, but it has whale tails on it. So I thought this lovely turquoise would be appropriate. But we'll see if I start knitting it and decide that I can no longer take acrylic yarn. In which case, which would be very interesting, I might end up doing a very large yarn destashing because I have a fairly large quantity of acrylic yarn stashed upstairs that I probably haven't used in, I don't know, this is June, at least 6 or 7 months, which I know it's kind of anti-knitting and crochet culture. Like, it's kind of a taboo to be like, I might give away or throw away my yarn. But if I have yarn upstairs that's just taking up space, and when I start to knit with it, I'm like, gross, I don't like it, I can't stand it, maybe I will give it to people who do use it, or donate it to people who do charity knitting or something like that. Because really, in my head and logically, there is nothing wrong with the yarn. I've just gotten really spoiled by using the nice soft wool that I've bought from indie dyers. So we'll see. I'll have to keep you guys updated. because I keep saying that I'm gonna knit and work from my stash, and I'm gonna like stash down and use my stash, but I haven't, no, that's not true. I haven't used my stash at all for 6 months. Haven't used it. Hashtag yarn confessions or something. Like, I haven't used it. The only stash I've been using is things like this, the jelly beans yarn that I've had for maybe 1 or 2 months, like I've had since the new year. I've been using that, but I haven't used, that's not true. I've used one project with acrylic yarn and my hands were unhappy the entire time. And I'm gonna insert a picture because it's really cute. It's a really cute project. A friend of mine asked me to make a little hula skirt, like a little grass, I don't know why I'm doing this, you know, the grass skirt, like a little hula skirt for her daughter who's turning 1. And I could have gotten something really expensive, but I was like, you know, this is a toddler / baby, and she's probably gonna wear this little hula skirt for, you know, taking pictures and maybe an hour or 2. So I didn't want to get anything really expensive. So I got that super cheap neon green Red Heart Super Saver, and I'll insert a picture because it's a cute little grass skirt, but it is made with the worst feeling yarn ever. But it's cute, and my friend sent me a picture with her daughter wearing it, and it's super cute, so I'm happy with how it turned out. But you know, life decisions could have used much better stuff. So anyway, that little rabbit trail. One more new acquisition, and I actually have not opened it yet. I wanted to wait for you guys. I'm just looking for my scissors here while I do this. That's what I'm doing while I don't look at you and talk to you at the same time. Scissors. Really? I prepared everything else except for scissors. Hang on, I'll be right. Scissors. So this is from Fiber for the People, which is by Taylor from the Wool Needles Hands podcast, which I previously mentioned. She is pretty new to, I didn't even need scissors, there's a pull tab. I'm gonna cut it anyway. I got the scissors, I'm gonna cut it anyway. She is pretty new to yarn dyeing. I think it's only been a month or 2 their shop's been open, something like that. But let's see what we can see. Ooh, crinkly bag, hang on. So pretty. So there's the tag. And this is her Marianas. Can't really see, there's a little bit of a glare. Marianas colorway. It is 400 yards. And this is her merino cashmere nylon base. So it's really soft and it's really nice. And I'm gonna take it out so you guys can see it. Look at that. So it's really, I think it's mostly a tonal yarn. Like, it's not really variegated. It's not really significant color contrast, but there's purple and there's light blue and there's dark blue. And it's very nice and soft. I really like that. So this is the first one. And twist that back up, put it down. The second one, oh look, there's a little business card. Look at that color. Awesome. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I want to make something with this. And I knew exactly what I was going to make with it. I don't know when the video stopped, but I'm going to show this to you guys anyway. It's the green. It's Avocado at Law. And I noticed while I was not paying attention to whether the video was recording or not, that Taylor puts a dye date when it was dyed, which is really cool. And I don't think I've ever seen a dyer put on a dye date, like explaining when they dyed it. And I think that's cool because I would imagine as a dyer, sometimes if there's colors that people don't want, they might tend to sit around a little bit, or just sit in the shop. But this is really neat because you can see when she dyed it. And let's see. Oh, cute. She sent a couple little stitch markers. And I've never actually tried this kind, so I'm very curious to see. I'll have to figure out how to use these. And a little business card, so you can see there's her business card on the front. And on the back, it has all of her contact information. And I do know that she just did a shop update today, so that's exciting. Thank you for supporting small business. You are welcome. Thank you for beautiful yarn. And also a lemon ginger, oh look, and it's caffeine free, so I can drink it. Lemon ginger tea. Very nice. Thank you, Taylor. I'm very excited, and actually, I'm not sure, I had plans for this, and it's a slightly different color than I was anticipating it was gonna be. But originally, I was gonna pair it with, this is just a regular black, it's Knit Picks Capretta, which is an MCN base, merino cashmere and nylon. And I also have Knit Picks Capretta in blue, this really beautiful royal blue. Now, oh, you know what? It does work together. Look at that. It does work together. Oh, so pretty. So I know what I'm gonna make with this. Look at these three together. Ta-da! It's gonna be awesome. I know exactly what it's gonna be. And I have other stuff to finish before I can cast this on. But this green is a color I have been looking for I can't even tell you how long. I was so excited to see this in her shop because I have been looking for this color for a while. So it's gonna be awesome. This is gonna sit here and like tease me while I knit on things with acrylic yarn. I'm gonna be knitting in acrylic yarn and I'm gonna be staring at my pretty avocado yarn like, please, I want to knit with it, but I can't. So, let's see. Plans for the future. What am I planning on working on? I've already told you guys about the knitting projects. You're gonna hear a little rustle for a second. But I'm also planning on making myself a couple more project bags because I'm so happy with how the first one turned out. So, sorry, little earthquake there. So the first one I got is this exploding TARDIS fabric, which is awesome. And on the inside of that, I'm gonna put these gorgeous blue stars with the swirly. And I'm really excited about that too because it's so pretty and it matches so nicely. So I'm gonna do that. And then I got some, let's see if I can get it out of here because I already cut it. Dalek fabric, which is going to get black stars on the inside of it. And these are probably gonna be little, I cut it incorrectly. So these are probably going to be like little drawstring bags, or maybe I'll put this on top and it can be a bigger bag. We'll see what happens. And then I got this cool stained glass Zelda fabric, which is kind of funny because I don't actually play video games. But it reminded me of my husband because he played like old computer games and old PlayStation games and stuff like that. So it reminded me of him. And plus I think it's really cool looking. So you Zelda people can hate me if you want to, but I'm probably gonna make bags out of that too. And the Zelda fabric is also going to get black on the inside, or where'd I put it? I just got some plain white, like little white with, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, sort of. Just like little kind of sort of designs. So those are my plans for that. And then for my last segment, I mentioned the last time that my husband and I are starting a shirt printing business, which technically, it's not really shirt printing, it's technically vinyl that is heat transferred onto a shirt. But we got our first order, and this is, I'm going to show you, but it's like a slightly messed up one because I had to make her a second one because I was still getting some of my techniques down. But look at this. It's a little baby onesie, and it was ordered by one of my knitting designer friends, and her friends are Americans who just had a baby, so she asked me to design this. So I designed it and put it on, and I love it. I think it's adorable. I'm really excited that we can start doing shirts like this because I have high hopes for maybe doing some knitting themed shirts or knitting themed like project bags, or I don't know. There's so many possibilities. I'm so excited for the things that we can do with this. So we don't have a website up yet, but our Instagram is Work and Play Tees, Work and Play Tees on Instagram. So you can check out what we're doing there, and it will also show you when we do get a business page up and running. And part of the reason we're doing this is because even though we're not moving now, we are still not giving up on the decision and the dream that we want to do some type of homesteading one day or more sustainable living. And we do plan to move in a couple of years. So if we're going to be moving in a couple of years, we want a business that we can take with us. Because a lot of times people can't move because of their job, or they can't move because, well, yeah, really their job, because you have to have a job waiting for you, or you have to have some kind of job security to provide for yourself. So if we do t-shirts now, it's probably going to be largely online, and it's a business that we can take with us when we move, which is also the great thing about pattern designing, because it's the same thing. I could design patterns in Philadelphia or Idaho, and you would still get the same patterns and you would still get the same product. I would just be in a different place. So that's the plan. Hopefully next time you will see a couple more t-shirts and lots more projects. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you have stayed for this long, thank you very much. And yeah, until next time, bye.